It's been an action-packed last 2 weeks, but we are back. Here we go.
Evening, Tate.
Evening, Jack. How are we?
Good, mate. Good, mate. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've been a little while off.
Yeah, we had a few reasons why we couldn't record last week.
Yeah.
But, we are back this week with episode 33.
33, yes. Lots happened, didn't it?
Lots
Couple of weeks.
happened. Part of me
been
was
exciting.
quite glad we didn't record last week because Arsenal were not top, and
Yeah, it was bad time for you.
maybe I
that's
was
for sure.
sulking, and
Yeah,
I could sense the eagerness of Jack wanting to get on the pod.
Yeah. We had it all lined up.
We
It
had-
was a tactical. That's a definite tactical little. Oh no, sorry, can't.
We
make
had
it
all the
tonight.
had it all lined up. We had the Jack Grealish celebration post, party, Jorginho on the floor.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll save it
Um,
for the reverse fixture. Hopefully.
We actually had 2 special guests lined up last week
Yeah.
as well for you listeners, but they've had to be postponed
Yeah, we'll keep them.
for another day.
Keep them.
But they will definitely be on the podcast very soon.
Yeah.
Like you said, lots have happened. Lots of sackings.
Mm.
Nathan Jones has gone.
Yeah.
Jesse Marsh has gone.
Just Marsh gone. Also, in that time, went to Southampton, didn't
Yeah.
take the job. Like you said, yeah, Nathan Jones has been sacked. Neil Warnock's back in the game. Huddersfield.
We'll touch on him later.
Up the Terriers.
Super Neil. Lots have happened. I'm trying to think what else happened. Arsenal have been second and they've been top.
Champions League was back on.
Champions League's been back on. You have been in Milan.
Yep. Been and gone.
Been and gone. Spurs have lost every game that Conte's been in charge of.
Yeah.
And won every game he hasn't been in charge of.
Well, Stellini in. That's the
Writing's on the wall. Everton are going to stay up.
Dyche, I tell you, because Dyche is the man.
Dyche has won as many games as Frank Lampard has, I think.
Dyche is the man.
Leeds are falling apart.
Mm.
Newcastle are stuttering.
Yeah.
Liverpool, are they coming back?
And West Ham are 18th. So
And West Ham.
West Ham, Silas, if you listen, I hope you are out there in sunny Dubai. West Ham are 18th. So remember your message. You can't honestly believe you're in a relegation battle. Well, here we are. February the 20th, West Ham sitting 18th.
22 games in, 23 games in, is it?
West Ham played 23.
23.
So, yeah, it's on.
It's on. So it might be a bit of a lazy one for me, but the teaser this week was a copy and paste from last week's teaser that never got released. Because obviously we were gonna do an Arsenal Man City breakdown, but for personal reasons that episode never happened. So the teaser was and is today. Nicolas Anelka played for both Arsenal and Manchester City in his career, but can you name the 4 other English teams he played for?
Oh,
And
I like it.
For a bonus point, can you name the remaining 6 clubs he played for?
Ooh.
So
Right.
in total, he played for
12.
12 clubs, yeah. 12 clubs.
All right. Okay, give it a go
we'll
at the
get
end.
back to that. I'm just going to rip this page off because the answers are massively. I don't want you looking over the desk at them.
Yeah.
You hide that from you.
So, Tate, do you want to run us through
Yes.
what we're going to discuss?
So, this week's show, as obviously we've missed the last 2 weeks or last week, there's lots have happened. So what we thought we were going to do is literally take a look at the league table and run through it from top to bottom to top. Split into different sections, title race, so we'll just focus on Man City. Then top 4, you have your Arsenal, United, your Spurses, Newcastles, and maybe even your Liverpools. I mean, we'll touch on them a bit later, but I think they could be...
Yeah, I think if they make a little run, we'll see.
And then we've got the European places, obviously your Europa League and Europa Conference Leagues. That at the moment, Fulham, Brighton occupy.
Yeah.
And then your mid-table mediocrities, Brentford's, Chelsea's, Villa's, Palace. And then have Forest escape relegation. That's what we'll get on to. Forest obviously down to Southampton. But let's start at the top.
Yes.
And... Excuse me.
Your mighty Gunners.
The early kickoff. So Saturday afternoon, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Arsenal on the back of 3 Premier League games without a win. Having dropped more points in the first half of the league, having dropped more points already the second half of the league than they had in the first half. Arsenal were getting into that sort of, is it a just a sticky situation, or is it a full-on crisis?
Yeah.
And after 4 minutes, oh my God, we didn't start well at all.
No,
a real soft goal. Yeah. It was nicely worked by Villa, but yeah, it was frustrating to say the least.
And it was, like you said, those like leading into this game, and obviously Villa early kick-off, and well, obviously up until the Jorginho strike, it was it like a blip, or there's like cracks starting to appear in the classic like cliches? But yeah, it wasn't. The Villa weren't bad at all. I don't think they weren't. I think Emery's like pretty disappointed and obviously frustrated with how it ended. But yeah, it was a much closer game than I thought it'd be. I really thought Arsenal would just go there, right, turn up and wipe the floor. And yeah, they didn't really, did they?
See, on
Villa were good.
League table, you would say so, but Arsenal, obviously, we haven't touched on it in a podcast before, but obviously Arsenal struggled. They lost to Everton, we spoke about, and they struggled against Brentford. I mean, they were obviously robbed with the VAR decision. I'm glad to see they've started drawing lines out again. They're remembering to do that now. Followed by the Man City game that felt like a cup final.
That was big, yeah. Well, I thought it obviously was a big game, but I thought, right, City have beat them. Not the title's done, but I just thought, right, obviously we're going to City, but they draw against Forest. I thought that was City's moment. They turned up against Arsenal away, beat them, and they're going to go on and just basically win everything, but not to be the case.
I wasn't overly impressed with City against us. Like, we played well.
First half was Arsenal good. Well, Arsenal were good pretty much all the game, but
all their goals, apart from the third goal, came from all our mistakes.
But that was it. The first one.
The first goal was the awful back pass from Tomiyasu, and a world class finish from.
And it was a poor header from Saliba to start with, wasn't it? That gave it to Tomiyasu. But
I mean, the listeners who will laugh think I'm biased here, but Ederson shouldn't have been on the pitch.
Honestly, like we said, we didn't really we missed it, but
it's a yellow card. His challenge is any keeper gets booked. Any keeper gives away a penalty normally gets booked anyway. So it's a yellow card. He's already been booked for time wasting. That's why he didn't get sent off.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the ref booked him for time wasting after 30 minutes because going back to this game we just played against Villa, that was the reason there was like 8 minutes added on, because Emi Martinez held the ball in his hand for at least like 40 seconds and he took ages for every kick. And he got bollocked for it by his manager at the end. He was not happy with him.
He went up for the corner. I know the fourth goal is irrelevant, but he went up from the corner on his own accord. Like, no one told him to do that. I don't understand why they do that, because they leave maybe one or two players on the halfway line. But the goalie's gone up anyway. But
it's the first time in ages I've seen a goal like that.
Yeah. You think surely it would happen more often, but so true. And Martinelli give it a little celebration.
Oh, that's class. That. a little bit of shit house. Really. It needs to be done.
But going back to the City game just briefly, that Ederson, what was he doing? He just a lot of people didn't think it was a penalty, whether he do or whatever, but just in general, his whole game was just off. Like, he was just having an absolute stinker. Like, what was he doing?
To get booked after 30 minutes for time wasting. And you could tell it was coming because he was just taking the piss. And it was like...
It was so obvious.
Just hurry it up for 10 minutes and then the ref forgets about it. And then you can go again in the second half.
Yeah.
But obviously gone in 1-1 and then just another sloppy goal. It was... The second half was... This is the Man City game we're talking about. We just looked tired, looked nervous.
Yeah.
And... With the podcast was going to be called, was it No Thomas, No Party?
Thomas, No Party, yeah.
And I had a put it on him in the last podcast, but I'll talk about it now. We haven't lost a Premier League game that he's played in this season. Well, sorry, I haven't got the numbers.
Was it full 90?
He hasn't played the full 90 yet. Of any game of this season in any comp. So 3 losses. Man United at home, Man United away didn't play. Everton away came off at 0-0. We then lost. Obviously, then we lost to City. He didn't play. In the League Cup against Brighton, we lost. He didn't play. FA Cup against Man City, half time, we were 0-0. They then came off at half time. We then lost the second half. And then the loss against PSV in the Europa League, we were, I think it was 2-0 down when he came on.
Yeah.
And we lost that game.
Yeah, he's obviously... And then Jorginho was quite good at the weekend, I thought, and not just like strike.
He was good against Man City as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and he is a good player, but like you said, he's just a drop off, isn't he, from Partey?
But he's not
he's a different player as well.
He's a drop off to Partey, obviously. But the main thing I quite like we signed him for is, like I spoke about before, he's better than El Neni.
Oh yeah, of
course. And we've improved in that position. So before it's going to be Sammy Lokonga or El Neni in that position, we've now got a better player. He's not the best, but he's better than what we have.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't think, obviously Arsenal going into that game with a bit of slump, I don't think coming out of that game could have gone any better. Like, would Arsenal fans feel better about themselves, or would Arsenal feel better around the club if they'd gone into that, just won a standard 2-0, goal in the first half, goal in the second half, easy football? If you're a football fan, the way to win a game on paper is like that: 1-0 down, the 1-0, 2-1 down, 2-2, and then your ex-goalkeeper has been winding you up all game, time wasting. You have a shot in the 93rd minute, hits the crossbar, comes down.
Your third goal is so lucky. It's so lucky.
It is, but it's also so unlucky as well.
Why is it unlucky? Who for?
Arsenal.
Martinez, how?
Because it's 2 centimetres away from being an absolute worldie.
But then it could bounce off Martinez's head and go for a corner, or
no. But if it's 2 centimetres lower, it goes on top bins.
But if it's 2 centimetres higher,
if you hit the crossbar, you're unlucky from that far out, aren't you?
Possibly, but if it goes higher, then it goes off the pitch.
Yeah, I know. But if you hit this, it's as lucky as it is unlucky.
But it was very fortunate to come off his head.
The technique is unbelievable.
It's a good strike, obviously, a very good strike.
It's the crossbar. To hit the inside the crossbar for it to come down as well.
It was a good strike.
He's centimetres off for it being absolutely perfect.
Yeah. But I also thought Saka's goal, obviously, yes, the strike's brilliant, but Mings, what is Tyrone Mings doing? Heading it back towards the centre of the box where all the Arsenal players are waiting for the ball. Just head it to where it's come from or off the pitch. Just poor centre-back.
Why Tyrone Mings is Tyrone Mings. That's why he plays for Aston Villa.
Yeah, it was bad. Very bad.
We saw some comical defending when they played City in the week before, and they got lost 3-1, I think it was. Yeah. And even, remember Odegaard's miss?
Yeah, and
I was
Odegaard's miss was shocking. I was thinking, it's just a goal. Everyone just assumed it was a goal.
Do you remember they played Leicester a couple of weeks ago, and they absolutely gave them the equaliser when they played it out the back. I know all Emery's teams do that because he thinks he can coach that sort of football. He can't. He's an awful coach. And they were always going to give you a chance, and that was the chance, but obviously you missed it. Yeah. I thought that was it.
I just assumed that was in, what was it at the time, 2-2? Or
2-2, not the 70th.
Yeah, I was just waiting for him to, put it in the back of the net, but he didn't, and he just obviously scored, 93rd minute or something? Stupid.
Yeah, 93rd minute, and then we obviously he went up the other end. I think it was Saliba headed it away straight to Vieira, who ran a little bit, threaded it through, and then Martinelli ran through made it 4.
Open goal, couldn't miss.
An XG of 0.99.
Yeah, that's rubbish.
No, but that's the thing. You see these XG things at the end of the game. It looks like Arsenal did dominate them, to be fair, but then Arsenal had a whole extra, because obviously they just basically scored an open goal. Yeah. So them numbers are always a bit skewed. And that obviously put Arsenal 3 points clear. Played the same amount of games. That's the important thing going into the moving on to Man City and Forest. I think everyone thought easy away win.
Yeah, and when it was 1-0,
they won 6-0 there last year.
And when it was obviously City gone 1-0 up, you just expect 3-4 game finish. But and you watch and you see the highlights.
Foden's 1-on-1.
On Match of the Day, and I just don't know how they didn't score a second. Just win the game 2-1. They have to batter him 5-0, but Foden, when he ran through and didn't get it to Haaland or shoot, Haaland when he has 2 chances within 1 and blaze it over the bar. In the first half, they had multiple shots on goal. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And they come out and everyone's saying, not unlucky, but City were very good. But then Kyle Walker's come out and said it's not acceptable. It just shows you, hopefully, the mentality they've got, and they'll turn things around. But it's really mad, and it's from last week, everyone was saying City's title is done, finished. Arsenal, they're going to crack and all that. And now all of a sudden, Arsenal are back in the driving seat and going to win the league. So, yeah, it changes all the time. Every week it's different. Obviously, depends on the results. Yeah.
But a point I wanted to make was last week was Arsenal obviously have their game in hand still, and Man City are. Everyone thought they said Man City were going to go on this 18-game winning streak like they have done it before. I'm looking at previous tables, 2021-22, when City and Liverpool both went on I think it was a 15-game win streak at the end of the season. And City won the league by 1.93 points to 92. And then 2018-2019, Man City 98 points and Liverpool 97 points. I think it is so important for Arsenal. If they're going to have a chance, they have to be 3 minimum 3 points clear
before that game.
That game in hand has to be.
Who is your game in hand? Is it
Everton at
Everton? I thought it was. Yeah. Yeah.
But winning that game in hand, then it has to be minimum 3 points clear. So all games played the same, 3 points clear. Just because that gives us a little buffer.
Because when you play them, it's that fixture. If you're not 3 in front when you play them away, then it might be a bit difficult.
Whereas Man's coming up, so the next 2 games, Arsenal away at Leicester. Leicester, I know they lost yesterday, but they were unlucky in the first half. Yeah. Then Arsenal have Everton game in hand. What I would give for Buddy. I think Frank Lampard should have to manage that game because it was before the they got
Dyche in before you.
That was what you call it, rearranged for the Queen's funeral. I think it was. Yeah. So Frank should be the manager back then. But Man City have got Bournemouth away next week, so that's like an 8-0.
You say that, but they should have beat.
This is where I think touch wood, maybe Man City might come unstuck. A couple points maybe dropped. Newcastle at home, followed by Palace away. They got a weird sort of record at Palace away. And
we'll probably cover Palace briefly, but they're horrible at the minute. So at some point in 2-3 games' time, they've got to pick up some point somewhere. And at the minute, everyone at the start of the season, like we say, keep saying that, City will go on and run, but they just don't know, do you? You just don't know. They dropped points at Forest. Obviously, they lost at Spurs. Spurs probably... It just shouldn't happen. Spurs beat City and then get smashed by Leicester. So you just don't know. You cannot predict it. And literally, like you said, if Arsenal were 3 points ahead or more going into the Man City game away, then everything's to play for.
Can I ask you a question that you have to answer with your rivalry put aside?
Go on.
Is it important that there are quote unquote contenders to Man City? Because we don't want the Premier League to become like all the other European leagues. Like a PSG or like a Bayern, where City already won 4 of the last 5 titles. I think it's important that teams like Arsenal, and like you could put Man United in there.
There definitely needs to. Yeah, definitely needs to be a challenge.
No, you don't want it to be Arsenal.
No, of course.
But it's good for
obviously not
the quote unquote product.
Yeah, no, I agree. I haven't even looked at the other leagues, and I don't think it's happening in the French league this year. But usually PSG are 10, 12 points clear, and it has happened in the Premier League before, but. Yeah, no, I agree. And Bayern Munich seem to always be 10, and they might not be.
They're all 11 points at the moment, to be fair, this year. Yeah.
But usually it's 10, 12, and
they've won the last 10 leagues, so it says it all.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it needs to be a challenge, but obviously, I just prefer not to be Arsenal. But no, I do agree with that statement.
Do you think the Champions League is going to be a distraction for Man City?
Almost. I don't know. I feel like they almost not want it to be a distraction, but for Man City, their league form is so up and down for them in context of Man City and what they've done that maybe the Champions League is like, right, let's focus on that. So that might affect them. Pep's bored? Nah, I just don't like my notes again, similar to about the Arsenal game, but another massive game, huge game, and they won the game 3-1, fine. But Bernardo Silva playing left back.
Bernardo Silva should have been booked after 5 minutes.
Because Bernardo Silva's a left wing, right wing, a little Portuguese like dynamo. He's not
3 fouls on Saka.
He's not. He's not a 6 foot left back who's been playing left back his whole life, and he's come up against Saka, who's in the form of his life, probably one of the best players in the league, and he's obviously Bernardo Silva's going to be charging him out, kicking him and like throwing him on the ground. It's just ridiculous, and obviously they won the game, so. What are you talking about, Jack? It's irrelevant, but it's just mental.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think he's got bored? Like he's like, I could play Ake there, but why? Let's try win.
Not? Yeah,
it's a little bit like I remember I used to do it on FIFA when I was younger. I'd be cocky and play like, let's play all the reserves and see if I can beat you.
Play
on Legendary.
3 at the back and then 6 up front.
Beat you on Legendary, and I think he's got the players to do that. And he's got the ability as a manager, obviously, to coach that. And I bet he gets such a buzz out of winning a game with Bernardo Silva
with stupid players,
being like, because he's such a football nerd, isn't he? He's like at work better.
Yeah.
This is what I'd love to ask an ex-player who played in like 2002, for example. I don't know, 2002, 2004, like that prime. Say Arsenal Invincibles, because that's the only team I can think of top of head.
Yeah.
4-4-2 they played every single game, and now teams play with the inverted left back.
Yeah.
Why did that come? I know they've all copied the Barcelona way. Then it went to 4-3-3. Every team now plays with one striker, don't they?
It's just that, but like you said, even United.
Would a prime 4-4-2 team beat a prime 4-3-3 with the inverted fullback, and
We wouldn't know. We'd never know, will we? Because
surely you couldn't play an inverted fullback against prime like Henry and Pires and Ashley Cole down that left hand side, because he'd get annihilated if he's.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it, could you? I don't know.
But then that's a prime 4-4-2 now would probably be Sean Dyche's Burnley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's no one
and in
plays
one-off
it.
game, of course, they defend for their lives. They're resolute and all the rest of it. And they nick a goal, they win. But yeah, I don't think over a course of a season.
But does the importance of the extra man in midfield make the difference overall? I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not a football manager. I'm not.
There's obviously reasons why Pep. But I said it wasn't just left back. But yeah, it's just for me another game makes a ridiculous decision.
Talking of Manchester, so we move on to their Manchester rivals.
Yeah.
And Mr. Point at his head has scored another goal. Again, he scored 16 times in 17 matches since the resumption of club football following the World Cup.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous.
Bagging a brace as Manchester United swept aside Leicester 3-0 to move within 3 points of Manchester City and 5 of Arsenal. Rashford now has 24 goals for the season, breaking his previous club record of 22.
And he scored midweek, didn't he, against Barca away?
Yes, another goal.
Yeah, he's becoming that sort of. At the moment, he's just in a very good vein of form, isn't he?
Quick yes or no? Man United title race?
No.
No.
What about you?
No. I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm going to be nice to them. So you can't. As it stands on paper, you cannot say they're not. But
no.
I'm going to give you now reasons why I think they might level out.
No, they're just not. Just looking at that, they're just not.
Since Christmas and the return, they've only played 2 teams in the top 10.
Yeah, and then they've got their next Premier League game.
Playing
got
Arsenal lost, and playing Man United, playing Man City, and how they won that game is because Howard Webb's in charge of the VAR.
So they got Liverpool away, obviously Southampton at home. Yeah, no, they're not in it.
Cup final Sunday.
Man United win.
Because they ain't got goal because
Newcastle team just fallen to pieces. St James has crumbled.
It is crumbling.
Yeah, it's mental. Yeah, no, I thought it would be. I mean, it obviously will be a close, or not obviously, but it's a cup final. It's usually pretty tight, tense, and all the rest of it. But yeah, United win that.
Yeah. Before we get on to that, quick one on Man United. Are they odds on third?
They're favourites. No, I don't think they'll finish above City.
I think the top
Arsenal.
3 are secured for me. That's why I would.
Unless Arsenal or City just magically fall off, totally just drop off form. But no, United third, and City Arsenal is sadly it's very very close at the moment. Yeah,
I'd put Man United and Man City in the title race. No. And Arsenal probably top 4 challengers. So we're 10 clear.
No, City and Arsenal going for the title. United picked up form and playing well. So.
And a note on David De Gea, because if you watch the game,
I saw his thing. He's like, go on, you were probably about to say it.
Well, if you watch the game, they should have been 2-0 down, shouldn't they? After 10 minutes, because Leicester actually started the game really well.
Yeah.
Having, can you just remind the listeners what Leicester's last result was?
Hang on. 4-1 against Spurs, and they beat Villa 4-2. So. Yeah, what a shambles that was.
Pedro
Porro, wow. Send him back wherever he's come from, thank you.
Another 50. We spoke about it on the pod, I think the last time we talked, and it was like, how do these Portuguese teams keep finessing these players? Like just even Fabio Vieira from Arsenal, like he cost like 45 mil, and he's like done nothing. For
because we go and spend, everyone says, we don't spend money, you need to go and spend money. So, we've got this pot. He might be brilliant, who knows, but that Leicester game, and it's very harsh. It's his first game playing for a side that's so up and down, all the rest of it. But my God, he was awful. Like, surely there's a right back, 10, 15 million in England somewhere, or bloody hell, there must be a 19-year-old that can do that. Like, yeah, ridiculous. He was awful. But it's all right. We've got our Lord and Saviour, Emerson Royale.
Yeah, we'll get on to him very shortly. But I just wanted to make a note of David De Gea. He kept his 140th Premier League clean sheet.
Yes.
He's now joint 4th all-time overall. Yes, I think, like we said, United secured 3rd. Yeah. Moving into the top 4, I've put Spurs, Newcastle, Liverpool. Although Liverpool are slightly below
Liverpool, obviously below Fulham and Brighton, and obviously if you're listening, you're a Fulham Brighton fan, more about us. But just the classic, like they've not done it before. They're two good sides on their day, but again they're just very, very up and down. If you look at Fulham's last 5 in the league, 2 wins, 2 losses. Brighton's 2 wins, a loss, and 2 draws. So they're all a bit up and down. And obviously Liverpool are more than anyone, but the last 2 wins they've got have been quite impressive. And Newcastle the other night was very good, wasn't it?
And Liverpool, looking at you now, you've played 24, they've played 22, and they're 7 behind you.
Yeah.
Win their 2 games in hand.
They're right in
back
it.
In it, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be. And the way
Liverpool's next game though, home to Man United.
Yeah, I think they're. Well, I think they got Palace, haven't they?
Oh, sorry, that's Man United's next game. Sorry, because obviously they play at the weekend.
Yeah.
They've got Palace away.
They got Palace away.
Istanbul.
And then they've got United the following week. But
sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Spurs, like Newcastle. Really, I mean, I said a couple of weeks ago, Newcastle, United, City, Arsenal. But yeah, like we said a minute ago, they're just faltering, aren't they? Just that Liverpool game has just tore them apart somehow.
It was a strange one because I think like most people might be listening, had home win pretty confident. It was
a hard one to predict, but I felt like Newcastle would win, but again,
and the Nunez goal came out of just nowhere.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was offside, and it's like, oh,
yeah, he's actually banged it in. Yeah, it was a good strike.
And then the second goal was a great pass, but just shoddy defending, and the red card just.
And then once Pope come flying out, it was game over, wasn't it? It was done.
They came charging out.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Oh, it was awful. It's one of them just head loss of the week moments, and he just
come out, he's panicked totally, forgot who he was, where he was, and done it, and then it's too late, and it's done. And he's probably snapped back into it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm off." That's the game
and
done.
I'm not going to play in a cup final, probably.
And I don't think Dubravka can he? The second choice.
Dubravka is cup tied from playing for Man United. So if Man United win, he gets a medal, and Newcastle win, he doesn't.
Oh. And then what? They got Karius.
Loris Karius, yeah.
Oh.
Don't think he's ever played for Newcastle.
Oh, it's not good. Because even I think Joe Linton would be fit, but Joe Linton was hobbling about when he.
Then Trippier gets subbed as well, and
Trippier got taken off, I think, precaution, but also got clattered by Nick Pope when Nick Pope got sent off. It was, just a.
Bruno's back though, isn't he?
Yeah, just a terrible, terrible game for Newcastle and Eddie Howe. Really, that's no win in 4 for Newcastle as well. 3 draws and a loss. The cup final. It happens before, didn't it? There's probably been more examples, but Birmingham won the League Cup, didn't they, against you lot? But got relegated. I'm not saying that obviously Newcastle won't get relegated, but it does happen. A team does well in that cup, and just their league form just goes out the window. And it could happen with Man United, and it might happen with Newcastle. They might not even win it, but then just totally lose concentration, lose what they're doing. And the thing is with Newcastle, I don't know what you think, but their squad is so thin. It's like their backup is like Matt Ritchie, and I don't know who else they've got, but Matt Ritchie always comes on. It's like he's not going to get him in the top 4.
Yeah. No, I've got a note here saying they don't score enough goals. If Wilson gets injured, which he does regularly, Isaac's young and also getting injured. But where they like I said, their squad is it's bolstered, but it's bolstered of not top 4 players.
Just squad.
If this is a normal season, you think Matt Ritchie, okay, it's like Newcastle, 10th good season for them.
Yeah.
But now they put themselves in this position, you are sitting there thinking, that isn't enough. Could they have done more in January?
They've been brilliant, and that's their 11 to 13 players. They've been brilliant, and they deserve to be what they're doing and where they are. And when they played Tottenham at home, when we went there, I just thought they were brilliant. They were like by far the better team. But now, with a couple injuries and obviously Pope's now out, it's just all gone suddenly. It's just blown up in their face, isn't it, really? And
Jesse, you touched on Spurs there. Strange old season, isn't it? Spurs are having I don't know, people are saying, it's not great, Conte needs to go, blah, blah, blah. Awful football. Are you doing better than you were last year on points? You're 4th, which is just...
Well, that's like similar to...
When they said you won and you're 4th, I'm like, how are you 4th?
I know, that's exactly what... I've had this same conversation over the whole weekend, but we're 4th by 1 point, not like level or just goal. We're 4th on 1 point, still in the Champions League, got a good, very, very good opportunity to go through to the quarterfinals. Still in the FA Cup.
I think you'll beat them.
We not should, but I'm pretty confident we will beat them. Maybe extra time, but we'll beat them. Still in the FA Cup, and like we said, we're battling for top 4, and it is basically doom and gloom. Like everyone despises the way we're playing, people want Levy out, people want Conte out. And I'm not necessarily with that, but I'm not against. Like, I'm angry, I'm upset with how we're playing. It's awful to watch, but yeah, I don't know. Do we take a step back and think actually we're doing alright here? I don't know. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre.
Should I tell you from an outsider what it looks like to me? It's that obviously it doesn't help that Arsenal have had like a shot in the arm and they've gone like directly up. Newcastle have gone directly up. United have gone directly up. Where Spurs, it looks like they've just sort of plateaued. They haven't gone down, but they haven't really improved. You wouldn't say you're not a better team than you were the end of last season.
No, but then that's what we're saying as well. End of last season, it was like
the team's still the same though, isn't it?
It's still the same, but the football was just better. Like, we were scoring goals, we were attacking. Like, Kulusevski had come in and was flying, and I don't know. It just seemed more exciting to watch, and we actually thought, right, we're a good side here. We can have a go at the top teams and battle for top four, and we are. I know essentially we are battling for top four, but I don't know. You can just see things happening, and you just know that. Bottom line is, we've still got Ben Davies playing left wing back. We've still got Eric Dyer, central defender. I know Fraser Forster's been okay. He was okay against West Ham, made a good save, but Fraser Forster's in goal. Like, it's just, we just got such a weird old team. Every week it changes. Like I said, we beat Man City at home and then go to Leicester and lose, like, absolutely annihilated, lose 4-1.
Yeah, and should have been 5-6.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah, it should have been at least 5. Yeah, it's just, and then we beat West Ham. We should beat West Ham, but we know how tough that game can be usually, and it was good to win. But yeah, I really don't know. It's a strange environment to be in. Really.
How important is this sentence I'm about to say for Spurs' season overall as well? Heung-min Son in the Premier League this season, 1 goal, 20 starts, 4 goals, 2 sub appearances. That must be a main reason why.
And he was good.
It feels like you're a bit off because he's.
Yeah, no, massively. He's been way off.
The Golden Boot scorer, a Golden Boot winner last year, 1 goal from 20 starts.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why it looks so awful is because he's well off it. And Kulusevski, to be fair, since he's come back from his injury, has not been as good or as effective as he was beforehand. Now Bentancur's out for a year, basically. Basuma, alright, he wasn't playing well, but still a better backup than what we're playing at the minute. It's just... Yes, it's all happening. It's all happening. And to be fair to them, from the Champions League game, Sarr was very good, I thought, for his age and his first Champions League game, and Skip for his first full Champions League debut. They've been doing okay, but our standards are so low at the minute. For example, Emerson Royal was brilliant, quote unquote, at the weekend, but it's only because we expect so little in the recent times from certain players that his performance and how he's been doing, we're like absolutely praising him to the highest. But
having scored just once in his first 45 Premier League appearances for Spurs, Emerson Royal has since netted 2 goals in his last 5 games.
Baller. He's the GOAT.
Is he having a redemption arc? Now Pedro Porro's in. He thought, I better pull my socks up now.
That is what everyone's saying, is that suddenly Porro's come in and Royal's been really good. But then again, it's about the management and our club. But so Royal played against City. We won 1-0 at home. He was good, or everyone thought he was good. And then he gets dropped at Leicester away. We play that Porro. Porro's awful. But then we knew that Royal would play in the Champions League in a week, and then he'd obviously play West Ham at a weekend. It's just, I don't get it. Like, Royal's been awful, but also I think he's been, I'll talk about him later on, but I think he's been a bit of a scapegoat, like an easy option to blame him. Like, no one really knows what he's about. No one really sort of watches him or looks at him. But yeah, he's easy to go, right, you're rubbish. He's the reason we're doing so bad. But Royal is like a tiny part of our problems. There's so many things going on, but talk about Spurs forever. But yeah, he was good at the weekend. I think he's played nearly 50, or it was his 50th appearance for Spurs at the weekend, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was his 50th, yeah.
If
he's played his first 45 and his last 5 years, 50 games, yeah.
It's crazy to think about that. But yeah, he was brilliant. And the first goal against West Ham was Højbjerg defence splitting past to Ben Davies, who then slots it back to Royal, who puts it home. But yeah, those 3 players literally on my top 3 hit list, and they made the goal.
I did think that watching the replay. I was like, you're going to be celebrating for gritted teeth.
Yeah. But that's the other thing as well. Like, I see so much crap online about Spurs and from pages and people retweeting whatever, but we're we're all buzzing, or not me personally, but people are like, oh, Ben Davies so underrated, it's so good, because he got man of the match at the weekend. But like, we need to stop this like total average, like bog standard players, because they have a good game, suddenly hype them up and say, oh no, they're brilliant. No, like, these players can have good games, but they're just not. They're just so bang average. Like, they just need to be moved on. But yeah,
it's like the player we Arsenal, just talking from Arsenal, for example, we had Callum Chambers,
yeah,
Rob Holding still, who, like I said, can have man of the match games.
Yeah.
But over 38 game season,
you don't want them in your team.
You're not finishing the top 4 of these players.
And Ben Davies is a good squad player. Like, if you every now and then he needs to fill in, or your left back and then your second choice left back and your first choice centre back can't play, then Ben Davies, yeah, you'll do. But yeah, just hate all this. And even Royal might be a prime example. He might be brilliant. He might be bang average and just having a little run of form. But yeah, suddenly, because he played a couple of games, he can't be the best fullback. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's painful. It's painful to watch.
So I purposely left Brighton, Fulham, Brentford out.
Yeah.
Who'd be your dark horse?
Top 4, Liverpool.
No, out of them 3.
Oh, are those?
If one of them, we left them out, but
Fulham, Brighton, or Brentford. I would have said Brighton, to be fair, but I think after Fulham's win, maybe Fulham might sneak top 5.
Can you imagine Mitro
Mitro
in the Champions League?
That would be incredible.
I just think Brighton, like you said, lack a goal scorer. Brentford,
yeah,
I don't think they're quite there yet.
Brentford are unbeaten 11 now, I think, aren't they? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Obviously,
Arsenal was 9. Whoever they played last week was 10.
Mm.
And then this week was 11. Although they should have lost this week, a 93rd minute.
Was it 11? Let's have a look. I think it
11
might
or
be
10.
11 or 10, either way. But yeah, they're good. They're obviously on a very, very good run of form. But yeah, it'd be quite incredible if they finish top 6. If any of those 3, to be fair, finish top 6.
It's unbelievable.
I think Brighton could sneak, or Brighton.
Well, I've got a note on it here quickly. Just 3 teams that you wouldn't be, what's the word I'm looking for? Shocked if they were all fighting a relegation battle at some stage this season. Maybe Brighton could have been like a 14th, 15th. Oh, they've had a bad season. Unfortunately, Potter's gone.
Well,
it's all gone to crap.
Get relegated. So.
Yeah, most people might have had Fulham and Brentford second season syndrome. But one of these clubs, Brighton, Fulham or Brentford, will be in Europe next season. One of them will be. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, me saying, yeah.
So you've got...
Yeah, I think Fulham or Brighton could finish, well, probably will finish top 7, won't they?
Let's just talk it out quickly. 5th is Europa League.
Yeah.
6th is Europa League if Newcastle and Man United is the Carling Cup final. Carabao Cup, whatever it's called. Because both of them, you imagine, will finish in the top 5.
Yeah.
The Europa League spot then moves to 6th. And the...
Because if Newcastle finish 5th and win the League Cup, does that affect it?
No, it goes to 6th.
Right.
And then I believe the 7th place is then
Conference
League. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fulham or Brighton will finish 7th. I think Liverpool will finish top 6. They could get into 4th or whatever, but Liverpool. Again, everyone's sort of not saw it coming, but I think they could make a little run for it.
Yeah. We'll get on to Chelsea after the break. I think that's a good moment there to stop part 1, and we'll be back with part 2 with mid-table mediocrity. Sorry, Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
And the relegation battle.
Good evening. 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 Good evening.
So here we go. All those Chelsea fans waiting, bated breath. Now's your chance. Turn that volume up. Talk about the mighty Chelsea.
Did you see that coming at Saturday?
No, God, no. No. I thought, right, Southampton home, if they're going to win a game, Chelsea were going to beat these 2-3-0. Yeah. And they did, to be honest, they did batter them. They obviously just can't score at the minute. I think they're scored, I've got it here to be fair. They've one win in 10 since the start of the year in all comps. Scored 4 goals in 14 games. 4 goals. And yeah,
Potter's won 2 games.
He's gone. He's going to go. He's got to.
So, is Conte back next week?
I'm not sure. I know he's next weekend. I think he's off again.
Oh, so you'll win then.
Yeah, he's working from home.
So I think that will be it. Can I ask you a question? If yes or no, would you swap managers, Potter and Conte, right now? I think Potter would be.
Ooh.
It's ironic because I think both managers, if they were to swap, it would improve both teams
sides.
straight away.
Yeah.
I think Potter is exactly the person you need. Obviously, you'll go
Yeah,
get Potter
I
in
think-
summer. Would you take him right now?
Don't know. I wouldn't.
Would you take him 6 months ago
I probably would have.
before he got the Chelsea job? Would you?
Yeah, I probably would have. Not like, oh yeah, I know everything, but I'd be like, yeah, probably. I'll correct a point, maybe, because a little while ago it was the likes of Eddie Howe and I don't think Potter's name was in the hat at the time, but that sort of manager that is Tottenham. Like, we should be getting that sort of manager. We need to. We're done with a Mourinho, Conte. It's just not. That's not Spurs. I've said it before. That's just not Tottenham. But I wouldn't take Potter now. But yeah, I do feel at Chelsea he's just not. Potter and Chelsea just doesn't work. They're disgraceful.
Potter's like the nice guy
Yeah.
that's trying to coach all these superstars or big names.
Like you said, they're a mercenary club.
Yeah.
Potter, like I said before, they've spent 600 million in half a year, like as in start of the season to now, 600 million pounds, and they've got Graham Potter in charge of all these so-called superstars and all these names. So then João Felix isn't going to listen to Graham Potter.
I don't think he can probably even speak
No,
English.
Mudryk doesn't know what's going on, does he?
He wants to play for Arsenal.
Yeah. The Fernandes in the middle, Graham Potter. He just won a World Cup. He's not going to listen to Graham Potter, who coached university football and third division Swedish football. Like, he's had an incredible journey, but yeah, these players, and they should listen to him. He's probably a brilliant manager, but
Do you know the only reason Graham Potter's still in a job?
go on.
Mikel Arteta.
Really?
Yeah. The reason I say that is the Chelsea board are looking at Arsenal as the project. This is the project. Stick with the manager. Mikel Arteta, young manager. Stick with him when it's going rough. Stick with him. And look what the fruits can bear.
Yeah.
I think that project, as I say, is the only reason he's in a job. Because
the owner, whoever's
the
in
owner
charge
can't
makes it,
have a third manager in his first full season in charge. Goes through 3 managers.
They just
That's
won't.
hideous.
In the summer, if they finish where they are 10th, and say they finish 10th where they are exactly what they're currently doing, they'll just get rid of them. They will.
I think it's more embarrassing to finish 7th and get that UEFA Conference League. There's rumours they're going to try and get for Neymar. Imagine Neymar playing in the Conference League.
Just won't happen.
I don't know.
But then Potter doesn't want all these players they've got.
No, he doesn't want any of them. I think it's quite clear that he said to Neville and Carragher on the Sky, it's like, the club buy them, but sort of.
He just coaches them. Like, it's just
he's
that's
the head
such
coach,
It's I think I don't know the record of it, but sure that's a failed method. It just doesn't seem to. Off the top of my head, doesn't work.
It's a scattergun approach.
Yeah,
they've gone. He's basically gone on Football Manager and gone. He's good.
He's got good potential. Yeah,
he looks good on FIFA.
Yeah,
we'll buy him.
Yeah,
Enzo Fernandez looks good in a Argentinian
in a
team.
World Cup winning team with Messi, the best player ever to play the game. He looks right.
We need him. See, Fernandez get absolutely destroyed against Dortmund for that goal. He looked like Jorginho running back. He had no base.
They got beat 1-0 by Southampton, who are bottom of the table with no manager.
Southampton done the double on Chelsea.
Southampton are bottom of the Premier League with no manager. And Chelsea have got...
Whoever that manager is, I don't know his name. I can't remember the one they've got.
Ruben Sellers.
He looked
a joke, didn't he?
He looked fucking cool.
Yeah, I said this. Like,
when they won and the full-time whistle went, he turned to his assistant and just nodded it. I wish I could, if there was a camera, and just went... when you scrunch your nose, a little nod. I've just done very well there.
He looked like I said that. He just looked. I've never heard of him. He's like been a caretaker assistant and all these other jobs, but yeah, he just looked the part, didn't he? He looked the absolute bollocks.
He was in smart casual.
Yeah, he
with a nice little black coat on.
And of course, that man Ward-Prowse whips in a free kick. They win 1-0.
Fantastic goal. But Chelsea. I'm not being funny. It's going to sound strange, but there'd be a better team if Aubameyang played. I know he's rubbish.
Yeah.
He's better than Kai Havertz.
Well, he's a striker, isn't he?
He would have scored that goal that Raheem Sterling missed, that chance he missed. He would have scored at least 1 or 2 goals by you. He's not great.
No.
But
he's an awful player.
But I do think next week's trip to London rivals Tottenham Hotspur,
3 points for Chelsea, don't you worry.
is going to break Potter's tenure at Hogwarts, and he will be expelled.
I'd like to say we'll beat them, but yeah, we all know they'll turn up, be unbelievable, and probably get the win. I think if they lose against us and lose in Champions League, that could be Potter gone.
I said he wouldn't make it out of February.
Yeah.
And
base it near enough there.
I said that before Christmas. He wouldn't make it out of February.
Yeah. When do we play them?
You play them You play them Sunday.
So it's the 26th, and then the Champions League will be.
No, it's
is
a
it a
midweek
week?
break. No, it's midweek break.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then they play again.
All right. So yeah, he could just about make it out of February, but it's not saying a lot when you haven't got a game. But yeah.
2 other teams have tied up in the mid-table mediocrities, Villa and Palace. I mean, I'm not going to spend much time on each.
They've just been.
Unai Emery screams mid-table.
Oh, yeah. They've done all right when he first came in, didn't he? Picked up a couple of results. They've gone 3 on a bounce, losses, conceding 11 goals.
Palace are a team that...
They're having a stinker, Palace.
But they're better than relegation, but they're not better than Brighton, Fulham, Brentford.
No.
They don't have a goal scorer, which I've always said since day one. They will always struggle to get out of the bottom half of the league without a goal scorer.
No wins in 7, 4 goals in 7
Zaha
games.
injured, they don't win without Zaha.
No.
They're good enough to stay up, but just not good enough to go anywhere.
No.
Whether Vieira's got stale, I don't know. But they lack money. I think they lack investment in that squad. They seem to have the same. Like, they've still got Nathaniel Klein, Joel Ward. They
don't do anything different, do they?
Milivojevic still plays. Jeffrey Schlupp still plays.
Maybe they're one of those. In a year or two, they might be 18th or fighting relegations. I mean, they have done it in the past.
Gaeta still plays.
Yeah, they're like looking here. They've won 6 games, and West Ham, Everton, and Bournemouth all won 5. So they've won 1 more than those that are supposedly in the scrap. So yeah, they're just about keeping their head above the water, I suppose. But yeah, maybe in a year's time they could be that side that are struggling because their league form they do okay, and then suddenly they just drop off, and maybe that's what will happen with Palace. But yeah, they're a pretty poor side, aren't they?
So glad we've run through that. Let's go relegation then.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I've started my relegation from Forest, although isn't there that stat going around that if the league table started in January 1st, Forest would be top? And I sort of said that as a tongue-in-cheek comment at 3:00 on Saturday when I was like, Man City playing the informed team. What did we say? That Forest staying up, they'd stay up if they get the home form right, and they haven't lost since October, I think, at home. In the Premier League, that is. Obviously, they lost to United in the Carabao Cup. But Forest look like a side. I know they've got 100 players.
Yeah.
But they look like a side that is hard to beat. And
yeah, at home, they're doing well. They're not playing brilliant football and keeping loads of possession and attacking and dominating sides. But you saw the City game, they just hang in there and nicked a point. But yeah, like we said, their home form, that will keep them up, and that will keep Everton up. They'll keep those sides up if they're good at home. So
West Ham versus Forest on Saturday.
Huge.
Moyes gone if they lose. 100%.
Do you reckon? I thought he'd be gone.
100%.
I thought if they were going to do it, he'd be gone by now. But the fact he's still there, I think he'll stay to the end of the season.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. If they lose to Forest at home, gone. I think for me. Although we actually had this, I'll jump forward to note a fan zone. I mentioned a little. There was a thing I put up on the Insta poll. If your team sack your manager, surely, I think personally, you have to replace that manager within a week, 2 weeks max.
Yeah, I voted on that.
If you sack your manager and you're still like
just
10
languishing
days,
about,
and you're still going for 1, 2, 3rd choice.
It's like Southampton.
It's horrendous.
Like Leeds, to be fair.
Sean Dyche was the what's that saying called? The low picking fruit, is it? Low hanging fruit?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Nice shiny red apple. Sean Dyche was.
Yeah,
you were saying it for weeks and weeks. Come and save me. Yeah. He had written on that apple,
and
Everton just went plucked it.
Yeah.
And I would say 9 out of 10 football fans would say Everton are safe now.
Yeah,
home form alone, they're safe.
Yeah, and they'll be close, and they'll not suddenly become brilliant and win every game they've got left, but. Yeah, they just will. Dyche has come in. Whoever he was going to go to, he would have kept him up. But yeah, West Ham have. I don't know where Southampton have sacked the manager and then not made a decision and been indecisive. Obviously, Marsh was. I don't know what was going on there, but it didn't happen. And Leeds are in a similar boat, and West Ham have still got Moyes. I do think they'll be safe. I really do think they'll be safe.
West Ham will be, yeah.
But yeah, they are poor on the weekend. Wow, you really saw. And then saying that they could have been 1-0 up very early on, but after that 5-10 minutes, they were just awful side.
Yeah, Antonio negative. He's a shadow of the player he was last few years. Yeah. The only player they've got showing any sort of fight is Rice.
Yeah, and even at the weekend,
great.
He was awful, awful. And on West Ham, Antonio spent best part of 50 million on 2 strikers, and they still have a 33-year-old Antonio up front who scored 2 league goals this season. They still relying on him to play.
He's probably scored more than Skamaka, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Skamaka's got 2, I think.
No, he's
next best thing out of Italy. He scored that deflected goal against Wolves, and then one against Leeds away, I think, from the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, if you look at West Ham, 2020-2021 season, finished 6th, 3 points above Spurs. 2021-2022 finished 7th, semi-final Europa League, all under their saviour, Moisey. And now West Ham want him gone. They want him on a stake, so I really don't know. It's just...
Then who do they get?
Yeah. I think they've missed... I keep saying Dyche was the man to get. He was the man.
Southampton must have felt sick at the weekend. They won away at Chelsea. They're still bottom.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what the exact stat was, but it's the first time in a lot of years that all 3 clubs that started to do the weekend in the relegation zone all won. So Southampton won. Bournemouth won away at Wolves. Yeah. Massive 3 points for them.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
And then Everton won at home to Leeds. I thought that was a home banker. Seamus Coleman scored the goal.
Yeah, what a goal.
I think he meant it.
I mean, maybe he meant to have a shot at goal, but even then, what is the goalie doing?
Because it's a horrific cross if he's meant it. There's no one in the box to cross.
Yeah, it's a terrible cross if he's crossing it.
Seamus Coleman has scored 2 goals across his last 97 appearances in the Premier League. Both of them are against Leeds.
Yeah. Well, it's Dyche is perfect. That's a perfect blend.
Like I said, he's 1-0 against Arsenal. Was his 2 Burnley boys from a set piece.
Yeah.
And he brought in Coleman from the dark.
Yeah.
Captain, leader, legend.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Dyche and Coleman is like a match made in heaven. That is like, if Dyche could create a player, it's him.
Yes, Seamus Coleman. Another 1-0 clean sheet. Like he's got 2 clean sheets. When was the last time Everton kept a clean sheet? Like, let alone 2 and 2 wins. Sean Dyche, 2 wins from 3. Frank Lampard, 3 wins from 20.
And to be fair to Everton, if they'd have got him in, if they'd have got Dyche in, because they 2 games previous to Dyche, Southampton at home they lost 2-1. West Ham away, they lose 2-0, and obviously they sacked Lampard after that. But those 2 sides, they could have picked up 3 points or a point in one of those games. And obviously they'd be looking a lot better, but yeah, Dyche.
Everton at home to Villa the weekend.
Yeah.
That could pretty much save...
Well, you got Leeds at home or away?
Leeds at home to Southampton.
Yeah, Leeds at home to Southampton, West Ham, Forest, Everton,
Bournemouth
Villa.
are going to lose. They've got Man City.
Yeah. Yeah, Bournemouth, that was a bad result, wasn't it?
And Everton also have their game in hand against Arsenal again. So,
yeah, it just changes it. The bottom sort of side of it, all the bottom end. It just from, like we said, Leicester are a strange one, aren't they? They're a weird one.
See, I'm nervous about them playing them Saturday.
Well, I would
because they wipe the floor with you.
Yeah, I mean, before the game, I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I thought, come on, we'll go there, get a result. But yeah, it's totally opposite.
He's scoring first.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw it as 1-0, I was like, right, decent, I'm going to go and win this game. We're totally different. But, yeah, they're a strange one. I think Arsenal will beat them. They'll be confident. But, yeah, Leicester at home are doing okay, aren't they? They seem to score a lot of goals, but also they seem to concede a lot. And it seems like when they go 1 or 2 down, if something doesn't happen in their favour, it's sort of they give up.
You summed up nicely that they lost... When we played them at the Emirates, they lost 4-2.
Yeah.
Where we scored 2, and then they scored, and then we scored, and they scored, and it was just...
Well, it's like we played at home. When Son scored his hat-trick this year, what, 6? Was it 6 something?
6-2?
6 something like that, 6-2, and then obviously played the other week, lost 4-1. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're in a relegation, but I think they'd be fine. Because Maddison's coming back, isn't he? They got some, like, again, cliche, but they've got some very good players that just aren't levels above getting relegated.
They're better than Bournemouth, who I think
Yeah.
are done. I know they won, but they're just awful, I think.
Yeah. No, they are. They're shocking.
They're a championship team. Southampton, I think, are going to slip. I think. And the other team that are heading through the trapdoor 100 miles an hour at the moment are Leeds United.
Leeds.
Winless in the league since November.
Yeah.
They seemed to have maybe got a bit of a sack the manager bounce when they got a draw against United at Old Trafford.
Yeah. They got the worst in the last 5 Premier League games. They got the worst record out of all those bottom teams, if you like. They haven't won in 5, so.
But they managed no shots on target at Goodison Park, slipping to a 1-0 defeat, and then Everton obviously leapfrogging them in the table to add insult to injury.
Yeah, they're poor. They are very poor. I think they could be gone.
No manager, what are you doing?
And they had. I know you said it, but they had Marsh in at the start. It just, they huff and they puff, and I'll talk about Leeds in a bit, but. Yeah, they're just.
I think they're unlucky they got Rodrigo injured because he's actually scored 10 goals from the season, which is invaluable. Yeah. Bamford can't hit a barn door. They just look a shambles. They look like apart from Bournemouth, if you could handpick a team to play at home, you want Leeds.
Oh yeah. I'd have Leeds. I'd have Bournemouth at home. They're your bankers. But the rest, anything can happen, I suppose.
Is there anything else we haven't touched on? I just want to note on Southampton. Obviously, James Ward-Prowse. Another blinding goal. 17 of his 46 Premier League goals have been scored by direct free kicks, and only Beckham now has scored more free kicks than
well, that's how you take a quality free kick. We've had Ericsson in the past, and everyone used to love him and all that rubbish, but no, Ward-Prowse, that's how you take it. That's how you take a set piece.
Because it's like we say, we keep saying it's cliche, but his penalties, his free kicks are a bit like, it's a penalty now, isn't it, basically?
Well,
especially in that
when
25-yard zone.
If you're on watching Sky Sports and all the scores coming in, they go, right, Southampton free kick. That's what happened at the weekend. It was like Ward-Prowse, the whole studio stopped, and he puts it in the corner. And
the best thing about that, it goes bottom corner.
Yeah, he just wraps it in the goal.
It goes up,
brilliant.
over the wall and down. Like the dip on it is just
it's very,
mad.
very good.
No, I think that's to bring to a close our...
Yeah, no, I think so. Just quickly on West Ham.
Yeah. Can't it be self?
No, I can't. I really can't. They've now lost 13 games. Leeds have lost 12, Bournemouth 12, Everton 12, Wolves 12. Lost 13, okay? Also on West Ham, and rightly so, fair enough. They draw against Newcastle, that's a good point. Draw against Chelsea, good point. And they lose against Spurs. So 3 games, they got 2 points. I'm not saying, you should win one of those, but surely, everyone say, good points against Newcastle. Surely you're better off winning one of those, getting 3 points. Surely that's better than 2. And then obviously you lose against something, it is what it is. But yeah, you're in a relegation battle. I love to see it. I do love to see it.
They are. I don't think they'll go down.
No, I don't think they go down.
Because I do think it'll be Bournemouth, Leeds, Southampton.
Yeah. I think, Bournemouth yes, they had obviously a great result against Wolves, but I just don't think they're good enough. They haven't got the players.
I think everyone wants to play against Bournemouth. That's the thing.
Yeah. But it'd be good. I think West Ham, we said it, but what's their fixtures? Hang on. West Ham, the second last game of the season, they've got Leeds at home on the 20th of May. That'll be, hopefully that means something. Hopefully one of them needs to get a result or something, something important. Oh, that'd be brilliant.
We've got West Ham. We have to go to West Ham.
April 15th.
April,
Yeah.
But no, I quite enjoyed that running through all the. I think I've just looked at Chelsea here. 0 goal difference.
Yeah.
That is awful.
Well, they scored 23. They've scored 23, conceded 23. That's mental. 23.
Before we move on quickly, let's have a little prediction. Cup final result. I know you said Man United win.
United 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, that man Rashford.
Oh. I can't handle a point to the head at Wembley. I just can't handle that.
Yeah, I think United win 2-0.
Neville going mad on commentary and everyone saying how well Ten Hag's done. Well done.
How much they scored?
£1.5 billion. You've won a cup in the first 6 months of your managerial charge, just like Mikel Arteta did.
Yeah.
With not a £1.5 million squad. It's nice when you can bring on Sancho at half time, who's 100 million, and you just have Anthony sitting around 100 million, and you got Varane just sitting around, not doing much. You got Maguire, 80 million.
Casemiro.
Not playing. Casemiro not playing.
Multiple Champions League winner.
Yeah. Not bad, is it?
It must be alright.
It is. He's playing with peanuts, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, what do you reckon for the weekend?
Gotta go with my heart. Everton.
Joe Linton, double.
No, a player who actually has a good record against Man United. Alan Saint Maximan.
Saint Maximan.
He's gonna get the winner. I want a Gucci headband, flips.
He was good against Liverpool the other day, but
I saw a great tweet about him actually, and it's actually quite true. I think if you're ever down to 10 men, he's the best player ever to have. He just works so hard, doesn't he?
Just constantly sprinting.
And like when you're down to 10 men, being at the ground, you want something to like come on, like you want something to, and he's that player who like take on 2 players. And they were
right when they Newcastle against Liverpool. It was a weird one. The game was done. They knew it, and maybe it was that factor. Just like right, so that we'll just do our best here, and they did. But yeah, no, I think United.
I think they just brain fired for 30 minutes and was like, oh.
And then they woke up and realised, oh shit. Yeah.
But moving on. Should we move on to Team of the Week?
Yeah, let's do Team of the Week.
Talking of that game you spoke about, we've gone for Alisson as the goalkeeper for this Team of the Week. 2 clean sheets this week, one against Everton and one against Newcastle, and made some fantastic saves against Newcastle.
Yeah, he made 3 or 4 really good ones. Really good
saves. And I don't think he had much to do against Everton, but back-to-back clean sheets, helping Liverpool climb the table.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Do you want to introduce your mate?
Yep, first defender we got, Mr. Emerson Royale. Was it a goal and clean sheet against West Ham? Yeah, he was just good. Played midweek against Milan. We lost the game, but it was that wasn't a terrible performance. It was pretty good. Yeah, first of the defenders, Emerson Royale.
Second defender, another right back. This time, Sean Dyche's mate, Seamus Coleman. Another goal-scoring right back and another 1-0 win.
Another clean sheet.
Yeah, he couldn't be playing. He couldn't be doing more than what Sean Dyche's asked for. He's done exactly.
Perfect fit, I think. Do you want to introduce?
Moving into the midfield, I'll introduce my mate Marcus. Reluctantly, for whatever we had to put him in. He's in between too many of these. Another 2 goals. What can you say?
Yeah,
you can't really say much. He's playing out of his skin, absolute fire. And if we're going to include the European games, he was superb at the new camp as well.
Yeah, he's been good. He's
3 goals in a week.
He's been on fire, the boy.
Moving on to the other midfielder, James Ward-Prowse.
Yep, nice. Another free kick.
Yeah. And he's basically single-handedly dragging.
Yeah, if they stay up, he's obviously going to be a massive part of it with goals or setting up from corners and free kicks. But
don't know why he screams at either an Everton or a Spurs signing in the summer.
Oh no,
he screams Spurs.
No, he can't.
Spurs.
He's good. I do like him as a player, but no, not Tottenham. Not Spurs, but he's more than good enough to play in the Prem. And if they go down, he has to leave. Yeah.
And then going on to strikers, we put a vote out. Darwin Núñez came from Benfica to the Reds.
Quality.
Or Ollie Watkins. See, I disagree with the fan vote here.
Really?
Yeah.
Who you went for?
I voted Núñez.
Yeah. I went for Watkins more that I thought he was good against Arsenal. He wasn't like brilliant, but he had a good game. I think he's scored now 4 in 4, like in the league, which is the first time he's ever done that. Even from like lower leagues as well. Yeah, I thought he's pretty good.
And he won, and Watkins won. I think he won about 60-40%, didn't he?
Yeah.
I actually think it was Andy Boyden
who
gave the deciding vote at just before recording. No, I just thought Núñez, he's improved a bit, scored a good goal, got an assist against Everton, and slowly but surely maybe he's turning into a Liverpool player. Don't know.
Yeah, and Gakpo got a goal, didn't he?
Yeah,
was his second or
second 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to Liverpool versus Madrid tomorrow.
Oh, Madrid, yeah. No, I think Madrid will win, but
I think it should be quite a good game.
Who knows? Liverpool at home.
And then just touching on fan zone here, we got a little bit we put on the old Insta last night. Sabitzer red card, the challenge. Knee
I think I've seen one replay, but yeah, the freeze frame, the photo looks terrible, but surely that's a red card. Has to be, or at least
Souness was adamant red, like
Yeah.
straight right. It has to be a red.
Yeah, it has to be.
The
It wasn't even a
is
foul, was it? Or
no,
no, he gave nothing.
he didn't even get booked for it.
No.
So 80% of the fans said red, said yes. See, it's a typical one for me. As if you're talking consistency, it's a red card because you've seen players get sent off for that.
For less as
But
well.
I don't think it's a red. Like I saw Eddie Nketiah, I remember, get sent off in lockdown that 2020 season for something similar to that against Leicester. Straight red. But the ref didn't book him or anything in the didn't book him at all in the first half or anything.
Yeah.
Didn't book him on first glance, but then
But I don't really sound like a bitter Spurs fan,
and
but
then sent him off.
Royale, when he got sent off at the Emirates for that's way less than what Sabitzer had done at the weekend. But yeah, it's just another example of the terrible standard of refereeing. I think like the red card would have been easier, and you might have personally might think it was a red card, but it's one of those or you'd almost forget about it sort of thing. It's just I think the refereeing was seen, and obviously Lee Mason getting relieved of his duties, and
deservedly so.
Yeah.
United title race. 90% of the people said no.
Yeah, no. They're only looking up and they're like silently going about their work, and they've got no pressure on them at all. So they'll probably be very close, but no, they're not in the title race.
Nick Pope red card. See, yes, that's 100% red card. Not disagreeing with that whatsoever, because that's the rules. Do you agree that rule is correct?
Yeah, that's probably the question to ask, and
I think it is.
I think it is good because it's all. I don't know. Is it all
I think it's
circumstantial? I don't know.
I think it's such a bad error to make. It's deservedly of a red card.
Because the question, like you're saying, so every time a goalie comes out and deliberately use their hands to stop the ball, is that a red card? Obviously, the answer in a minute is yes. But so say, for example, that one. I think Salah. I think was there a couple of Newcastle players running back?
Yeah.
And Durham, he probably would have scored, but there's an uncertainty there. But if it's just Nick Pope, Salah would have run through on his own. That is a red card. But then, because there's a couple of players running back, and you're not certain if they're going to score, is that a red card? But I don't know. That's the argument people have. But I think it's the right rule, if you like, and the right decision.
And then the other one we mentioned earlier was Leeds manager circus. If you're sacking your manager, surely you have to have a replacement
ready, or if that because sometimes the managers don't want to be there, but you've got to have your short list of one or two people that you're going to interview and talk to and sort it out. But yeah, I think you should. I think you should have a manager ready.
Right. So that's fan zone done. Should we move on to winner and loser of the week to close out the pod just before we finish on the teaser?
Start us off.
Yeah, my winner. You touched him right at the top of the show.
Yep.
Mr. Neil Warnock.
Really?
Yes. 74 years old. 19th job in charge as a manager. His last time he was managing Huddersfield was in 1995.
That was his first club, I think, wasn't it? I didn't know.
Wasn't his first. I think he played for Huddersfield as well.
Right.
74-year-old Warnock came out of retirement last week after he was appointed Huddersfield manager to the end of the season, returning to the club 30 years after his initial appointment. He took over, obviously, this week and won his first game against Birmingham 2-1.
Good result.
And he is a legend of the lower leagues, any old Neil.
Yeah, he's a bit of a
Dad, he had 3 points.
Yeah, he's not become a meme, but yeah, everyone loves him because he's Neil Warnock. Like you said, he's been around for what seems forever, and of course he'll take that job. Why wouldn't he? A short-term contract, probably into the end of the season, probably getting paid very, very good money for it, regardless of if they get relegated or not. Probably more money if they stay up. But yeah, that's good. A nice feel-good story, I suppose.
What about yourself?
My winner of the week is Emerson Royale after his stellar performance against West Ham. But yeah, he's had a bit of a rough start to life at Spurs. But yeah, recently playing well. Maybe that's to do with Porro coming in, who knows. But yeah, putting in some good performances. and I said earlier, but maybe the criticism was a bit harsh, or is a bit harsh, that it's an easy option to hurl your frustration and anger towards essentially someone we have no idea what he's about. But yeah, he was very good against West Ham, clean sheet, scored a goal. He actually was a good right back, defended well, put in some good tackles. So yeah, winner of the week, Royale. I think he's got that. I said it, I missed you, but I think he's a bit of a cult hero. Like, he could potentially, there could be murmurs that he just, I don't know, he might be absolutely awful, but we might still love him. I don't know.
Loser of the week.
I'll start if you don't mind.
Go?
Yeah, I've gone Leeds United. So they lose against the relegation rival in Everton. They concede a horrible goal due to their goalie Meslier making a huge mistake. Tyler Adams, their captain, who's getting all involved with McNeil on the sideline, starting a big old ruckus in front of the away end. Like, it's a classic puffing in the chest, like, ooh, I'm Leeds, ooh, I'm here, I'm going to do this, do that. But it's all a load of rubbish. They're awful side. They scored 2 in 5, with 2 draws in that 5 and 3 losses. And I just that it's all right though. Leeds are entertaining. Leeds are good to watch. Like, they're 19th without a manager. What's good about that? It's good for teams like Man City, Spurs, Arsenal, because they go and beat the Leeds. Like, of course they're going to come out and say, oh, it's really good. Like, I really like what they're doing there. No, Leeds United loser of the week.
In the bin.
What about yourself?
I think mine was very, very obvious. Emiliano Martinez.
Yes.
So, I haven't liked this man for quite a while. He's annoying, constantly moans in the press that Arsenal never gave him a chance. He signed for Arsenal 2011. He was then loaned out to Oxford. Following season, loaned out to Sheffield Wednesday. Following season, loaned out to Rotherham. Following season, loaned out to Wolves. Following season, was at Arsenal for a bit. The following season, he was then loaned out to Getafe. The following season, he was then loaned out to Reading.
I was just blanked out. I just hear this constant names, team names.
The following season, he then played for Arsenal a bit in the cup competitions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And got his chance and was pretty decent. And Arsenal cashed in on him. We've had you since 2011. We had you for 9 years and you were shit for 8.5 of them. Of course, we're going to sell you for 20 million. You got a year left in your contract. That's an absolute steal.
Yeah. And that's like,
if you were good enough,
yeah,
you would have played, because we had shocking goalkeepers in that time. We had Mooney might have still been around. Chesney was alright, to be fair, but then he turned shit. David Ospina we had round there. I'm trying to think. Vito Mahoney was probably around that. Yeah. Peter Cech even was great for us. And even if you were any good, Oxford United, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham, Wolves, Getafe, Reading, one of them would have said, "Oh, we quite liked you when you were on loan. We would have signed you." You were rubbish, man. You're a good goalkeeper now, but you've been at fault for 4 goals against Arsenal this season. 2 at the Emirates. Remember, you actually think he was your loser of the week when we played at the Emirates, and he made 2 stinkers.
Yeah, he made 2 howlers, didn't he?
You time waste. So you play such. I know you've won a World Cup and whatever. I couldn't really care, but your time wasting was just. It was winding me up so much. Emery even criticised him for the time wasting, saying that's not how we play. We want to play quick football, and he just invited more pressure on them. Ended up scoring an own goal. I know it was unlucky, but justice was served. And then he went up for the corner, trying to be the big I am. That's what he's like, and made an absolute cock of himself. Yeah. Emery had to dress him down, and I've got here the last comment: karma, a dish best served cold.
Oh God.
He's just
it's a good one. He had a stinker, didn't he?
So pumped up against Arsenal he's got such anger against Arsenal for some reason. Yeah, we gave you a chance, mate. We actually gave you a chance. You're the reason. We are the reason you have a World Cup winners medal. Thank us, not fucking kick us all the time.
He was up to his tricks when but obviously it backfired massively.
It backfired good. Gladly it did. And that was my loser of the week, Emiliano Martinez. Right, to wrap up the pod, we'll go back to the teaser. Yes. What are we on? 1 hour and 14. That's not too bad. Nicolas Anelka played for both Arsenal and Manchester City in his career. But can you name the 4 other English teams he played for?
West Brom,
Yep.
Chelsea,
Yep.
Bolton.
Yep.
Oh, who's that? And there's one more.
Yeah.
Arsenal, City, Chelsea, West Brom, Bolton. Who did he play for? Oh, who did he play for?
I can hear the fans screaming.
Oh, they're going mental. Oh my god. Is it obvious? It's obvious. Big side.
Well, I'm just surprised you were really confident getting the first 3. I thought you were just going to smash it, and now you're
I've gone blank
now you're crumbling.
in the moment.
And try not to look at you to give you any answers.
Oh, I've lost it. I've totally lost it.
Crumbling in front of my very eyes.
Because I want to say this team, but if I say it and it's wrong, people are going mental.
Go for it.
West Brom, Chelsea, Bolton. No,
What's your gut saying? Say it.
no, I can't say it. I
Say
don't want
it.
to say it. No, I can't because if it's wrong,
Say it.
I'd rather just be wrong than guess.
Yes, come on.
No,
Come on, you can't leave the listeners hanging like this. Say it. Come on, just say it.
Is it Liverpool?
Yes.
Oh God. Oh God, that's scary. I actually thought I was going to say that, and you just burst out laughing. So I can picture him in the kit, but I'm
Yeah,
picturing
Carlsberg.
with like the badge in the middle.
Yeah.
But I'm picturing him, and I've got like a weird mix of El Hadjouf and Anelka together. So those two, like, they're causing me problems.
Yes, it could have been that because he played 2001, 2002. So I think actually how did you sign off 2002 World Cup?
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe they played
Alright,
a couple
thank
games
God.
together.
I should have said it earlier, but thank God.
You want to have a crack at the other 6 teams?
Was one of them in Turkey? Did he have a stint in
Yeah.
Turkey? I couldn't tell you the name.
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce in Turkey, yep. France. Who did he play for in France? Marseille?
Nope.
I'll be guessing. I wouldn't know.
PSG.
PSG in France. Of course he did. He had yeah, he was good. I wouldn't know. Any others? What were we saying?
You've got the biggest club in the world and 2 of the smallest clubs in the world.
2 of the smallest?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Real Madrid.
Madrid. Mm.
And
Yeah,
then
because he wore
Arsenal sold him to Real Madrid.
he had Anelka was in black on the back of his shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had Chelsea sold him to Shanghai Shenhua.
Yep.
He then went from Shanghai Shenhua on loan to Juve. He then had an infamous stint at West Brom.
Yep.
Followed by retirement at Mumbai FC.
Oh, Christ. Oh yeah. I got the teaser right. That's all that matters.
You got the first, but you got the best bit right. You
Yep.
get the bonus question.
Yeah.
Right, I think that sums it all up.
Good one. Very good.
Back after a 2-week break.
Yep.
Ow, just getting out of my seat. Trying to say goodbye to listeners.
How's your marathon running going?
I did 15 miles at the weekend. That was tough. Ran for 2 hours.
Oof.
Running for 2 hours is a long time to run for. Not in terms of aching, just
Like what? Yeah. You surely get to a point like, I'm just gonna stop.
I don't like beating myself running, so I
Mm.
always have to look for like a different route, and just it's tiring thinking I haven't been here yet, and
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
thinking I need to get home at some stage. And
Yeah.
need to go back.
If I
and
keep
stuff.
running away from home, that's
Yeah.
another. If it's 10 minutes that way, it's 10 minutes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so I need to do I'm going to do a couple of small ones this week, and then next weekend I think I'm going to go for a big 20.
Ooh. What is that? A weekend job?
Yeah, Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
What's it? 8, 9 weeks?
9 weeks yesterday. Ooh. 9 weeks yesterday. I'm a third of the way through the fundraising, but I'm pretty confident I'll get the $3,000 needed. It's just the running is hard work. I will say I did underestimate it. I think I thought I'd be able to do it reasonably simple.
It's probably more the
Training
training
is
than
hard.
you have to week to week, like you have to go out and do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
which I've never done before.
Yeah.
Like, I've done gym work before with, like, when I used to live for Jake, we used to go regimentally 5-6 times a week, but I was with someone who we all went together, and it was like a routine.
Yeah.
This is, you're on
Off your own
and
back,
it's so easy to give up. You can just stop, can't you?
Yeah.
But you have to keep
And
running.
no one's gonna.
No
one's gonna care.
No one's gonna
No
know.
one's gonna see
No one's
it,
gonna care. No one's gonna care whether I get what I want. If I run it in 3 hours, if I run it in 4 hours, no one's gonna care apart from me.
Yeah.
Which was also like a tough thing as well. They might care for like 10 minutes when I tell them, but they'll go back to normal hours, won't they?
That's true. Though, when you're running, you could literally just go, I'm just gonna stop at this roundabout in Writtle or wherever, like Chelmsford somewhere or whatever. Yeah.
No, it is tough.
It's a bit like a Diary of CEO podcast.
To end it off.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for listening again.
Yeah.
Do give your feedback as usual. And we're back next week.
Yep.
Episode 34. And we'll see how the weekend plans out of football.
Yeah, but obviously the cup final and a bit of Premier League, so
Will Potter be in charge come next pod?
we shall see.
Well, no, he won't.
Yeah, hopefully, we'll be back as we usually are every week, and as always, stay loyal.
Stay loyal, guys.